If you desire a particular house, do not imagine yourself buying it. Do not begin with the realtor, the contract, the mortgage, or the moving boxes. For while you imagine the process of obtaining the house, you are still occupying the state of one who does not live there. The true question is not, how shall I acquire it? The question is, what would I be doing tonight if this home were already mine? A woman once desired a house that every agent declared impossible. The location was wrong for her price. The requirements were too exact, and the property she wanted was said not to exist. Yet she did not overcome those objections by imagining the purchase. She entered one ordinary moment inside a completed home. Tonight, I will show you how to choose that moment for yourself. One location, one simple action, and one physical detail that implies you already live there. Let me tell you of a woman who desired a home with requirements so exact that every agent considered them unreasonable. It had to accommodate 4 adults while giving them privacy. It needed 2 separate living areas under one roof, room for the dogs, distance from the neighboring houses, and a location north of the Strip, where property value seemed far beyond the price she could afford. The agents listened, then laughed. Some told her plainly that no such house existed. Others said that if it did, it would cost several times what she was prepared to pay. She did not argue with their conclusions, nor did she reduce the desire to make it acceptable to them. She knew the kind of life the house was meant to contain, so she began to sleep in the assumption that she already lived in the home she desired. She did not attempt to determine which owner must sell, what price must change, or which agent must discover it. She left the arrangement of events to a wisdom greater than her reasoning mind. Then one afternoon, an agent who had little faith in the search telephoned her. A property had appeared north of the Strip. It was not being offered in the form she required, and the agent warned her not to expect too much. Still, she agreed to see it. As they approached, she saw the privacy, the space, and the setting she had described. Then she crossed the threshold, and the house began to answer her desire, room by room. The great living room opened before her, its walls finished in wood, with a fireplace below and an upper balcony looking over the room. She stepped onto that balcony and placed her hand upon the railing. Then she looked down. Her husband stood near the fireplace with his pipe in his hand, and upon his face was the quiet satisfaction of a man who had found his home. In that instant, she was no longer examining a property. She had found the experience she would later occupy in imagination. That night, she returned inwardly to the same place. She did not picture the agent approving the offer, papers being signed, or boxes passing through the doorway. She stood again upon the balcony. She felt the railing beneath her hand, looked down at her husband, and saw the same expression of satisfaction. She allowed that simple act to become present and natural, then fell asleep as though the scene belonged to memory rather than desire. The following day, the agent called. The owner had agreed to divide the property and accept the price she had offered. What the agents had declared impossible had been arranged without her discovering the means beforehand. Notice carefully what she had imagined. She had not imagined acquiring the house. She had imagined occupying it. She selected one ordinary experience that could belong only to the woman who already lived there. And that is the distinction we must now apply to the home you desire. How, then, are you to apply this to the home you desire? Begin by choosing one small place within it. Do not attempt to construct the entire house in imagination. Choose the balcony, the bedroom window, the kitchen counter, or the doorway through which you would enter each evening. One place is enough, provided it belongs unmistakably to that particular home. Then choose one ordinary act that implies the search is over. Do not see yourself meeting the agent, receiving approval, signing papers, or carrying boxes through the door. Those events may occur, but they still belong to acquiring the house. Instead, choose an act that belongs naturally to living there. You might close the curtains before sleep, place your keys upon the counter, turn off the lamp beside your bed, or open the balcony door in the morning. Suppose the home you desire has a balcony overlooking a garden. It is night, and you step out upon it. You turn and close the glass door behind you. Feel the cool metal handle beneath your hand. Hear someone you love say from inside, "I'm so glad this is our home." You answer quietly, "So am I." That is enough. The place, the action, and the touch all imply that you already live there. Keep the scene brief. 6 or 8 seconds may be sufficient. Experience it through your own eyes and return to the same act rather than inventing a different story each night. You are not producing a motion picture. You are entering one convincing moment. Now test the scene. Could this happen only if the home were already mine? Am I experiencing it as a participant rather than watching myself from a distance? Can I repeat it without strain? If the answer is yes, your scene is complete. Return to it gently until the home feels less like a place you are seeking and more like a place you know. Tonight, choose the room, perform the ordinary act, and feel the one detail that tells you where you are. Remain in that moment until the scene no longer feels like an exercise, but like something familiar. Do not look for some great emotional response. You would not be astonished each time you entered your own home. That very familiarity would tell you the home was yours. So do not imagine receiving the keys. Imagine placing them upon your own table. Do not imagine entering the house for the first time. Imagine locking your own front door at night with the ease of one who has done it many times before. Let the act become simple, familiar, and natural. Then fall asleep, not as one hoping to find a home, but as one who has already returned to it. Now, let us go into the silence